Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Shri Nandanandanam Bande Radhika Charanandayam Gopi Jana Samayuktam Vrindavan Manoharam Ajano Lambito Bhajo Kanakavadato Sankirtane Kapitaro Kamalaya Taksho Vishwambaro Dvijabaro Yugadharma Palo Bande Jagat Priya Karo Kurunaya Avataro Karo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ramo Ramo Hare. First of all, I offer pranams to our Gurudev, Vishnupad, Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Rupanuga Guru Parampara, all devotees, thank you for coming. Even Swarup. So, we are hearing yesterday, Mahaprabhu also asked Ramananda, I want to hear Krishna Swarup, about Radha Swarup and Rasa Swarup. These three things. And Prema Swarup. So we heard too much detail about Krishna Swarup. Remember anything, Chris? He's the cause of all causes. He's the beginning of everything. Where's Batu going? Oh, there he is. He's the beginning of everything, the cause of all causes. But he has no cause, he has no beginning. Krishna has a body made of eternality, knowledge and bliss. He has possessed unlimited spiritual worlds, unlimited material worlds. He is the enjoyer of all of them. Sarvavatari Krishna Brajananandan, he is the source of all incarnations, possessed especially of incredible beauty. That beauty is so incredible, it amazes even himself. His beauty attracts other incarnations. His beauty attracts the devotees of other incarnations. And he is full of ras. Means he can reciprocate with everyone perfectly. Then his potency, her name is Radhika. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Bhavatapati Tabeja Eva Nijarupata Kalabiha Galoka Eva Nivasatya Akilamatma Bhuto Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I give my respects, I worship that Govinda, the original person. He was always in Goloka Vrindavan, the spiritual world, with his potency. She is like his reflection. She is made of Ananda Chinmaya Ras. Her body is not material, her body made of service to Krishna, Ras. And she has millions of expansions, millions of gopis are all her expansions. All the millions of gopis are her expansions. They possess her qualities to some degree. So, like sun and sunlight are never separate, Radha, Krishna, always together. Any questions, Batu?
It's pretty clear.
Clear. Okay. So, she is called Krishna's, Krishna has three energies, one energy actually, that is called the Parashat. But that has many functions. So three main energies of Krishna, the material energy called Maya, what else? The spiritual potency called Antaranga, and a marginal potency because it can live in both the material world and the spiritual world, therefore it's called the marginal potency, that is the jiva, the souls, the individual souls. individual souls are manifested from the Jiva Shakti. The material world manifested from the Maya Shakti, and the spiritual world manifested from the Antaranga Shakti. These are Krishna's three main potencies. So the spiritual potency manifests the unlimited spiritual worlds and all the varieties there. That Antaranga Shakti has three components: Sandini, Samvit and Ladini. Okay, Sandini is the potency of existence. Krishna has given that in charge to Baladev. So everything which exists in the spiritual world, that is manifested from the Sandini Shakti. Right, Chambat? Krishna's bed, Krishna's shoes, Krishna's cloth, Krishna's flute, all trees, cows, rivers, mountains, everything. That is, there is no earth, water, fire, air, ether there. All is the Sandini Shakti. Krishna himself presides over the Samvit Shakti, the potency of knowledge. Right? Krishna's body is made of knowledge. His breathing, that is the four Vedas. So how effortlessly he manifests that knowledge. Krishna's knowledge not came from anyone else. Krishna's knowledge is called Swadsid, self-manifest. By this knowledge, one can know Krishna, one can know oneself. Samvit. And lastly, Ladini Shakti, the potency of happiness, the potency of service. Radharani presides over this. And she's in charge of ecstasy, service. So these three are like one. Sometimes Sandini is prominent, sometimes Ladini, sometimes Samvit, but they're always there together. Sometimes more, sometimes less. These three are the shelter of everything. Okay, so we heard all this yesterday. So, Premera Sarup Deya Prema Vivatita Krishna Presi Stress Jagata Vidita. Radharani's body is made of love of Krishna, Krishna Prem. So who worships her gets Prem, love of Krishna. Sema Bhav Hoy Chintamani Sa. Whatever Krishna wants, she gives. Whatever Krishna needs, she manifests. Krishna has only she can satisfy all of Krishna's desires. Okay. Mahabhav Chintamani Radhara Sarup Lalitadi Saki Tar Kai Vyuharup. Therefore she is called, her body is called Mahabhav Chintamani. Mahabhav is the topmost essence of love of Krishna. She, whatever Krishna needs, she wants. Earlier in this book it said Radharani is the city of Krishna's enjoyment. The city of Krishna's enjoyment. Right? Like in the city you can find everything. Ice skating rinks. What else? Cinema halls. Nightclubs. Vegetarian restaurants. Hospitals. Parks. Whatever you want you can find in the city. So Radharani is the city of Krishna's enjoyment. Whatever Krishna can think, whatever he wants, everything is there. So Radha Prati... Gracias. So, many things here, maybe it's not too much proper to read. Okay. So Krishna Vasudha Prem Ratnira Akar Anupam Gunagan Puna Kaliva. Anyway, so Radharani's body has 16 ornaments. They are also completely spiritual. They are composed of different ecstasies. And Radharani has 20 abharam, like, not ornaments, but like dress, all these things, makeup, So Ramananda Roy describes all these things. How Ramananda Roy knows all these things? Because internally he is Radharani's nearest and dearest friend, Vishaka, girlfriend Vishaka, so he knows everything. I don't want to too much go into detail. If you want to, you have to read it yourself. Everything here is not for public consumption. Thank you for coming. So, finally Ramananda. So what is the origin of love of Krishna? Krishnadas Kaviraj has written this verse in another of his books. Who is the origin of love of Krishna? The answer is Srimati Radhika. Who is the dear most beloved of Krishna? The answer is Srimati Radhika. Her hair is curly. Her two eyes are always restless, moving here and there in various ecstasies. All transcendental qualities are manifested in her body. She alone can fulfill all the desires of Krishna. If Radharani has such qualities, even other servants of other incarnations desire her qualities. Like Krishna left Vrindavan, went to Dwarka, there he married 16,108 queens. You knew that, Batu? You heard that before?
Yes.
So lead amongst them is Satyabhama and Rukmini. Even though she's a queen in Dwarka, she also did, when she hears about Radharani's artistic abilities, like in dressing, then she also desires those qualities. All other gopis are expert, but still when they see Radharani's service, they become astonished. Even Madhisoda. The gopis, even though they are Krishna's eternal perfected devotees, they are siddhas, means perfect. Still, when they come to this world, they act like, what's a good word? They give instructions through their activities. So without association of sadhu, saintly devotee, without service to devotee, no one can get love of Krishna. So we should try to serve the devotees. So Radharani herself teaches that, even though she's the guru of everyone. Maninda Brinda Bandite Tiloka Soka Harini. This verse, all the munis, all the sadhus pray to her, they glorify her. So she's the guru of all gurus, actually. But still, she teaches by her example. So Radharani wants to show without association of devotees, no one can achieve Krishna. And association doesn't just mean living in the same house, or it means to do something for them. So there's a sadhu called Durvasa Rishi, extraordinary fellow in his own way. So all gopis wanted to serve him. So all gopis cooked some preparations, and thousands went to visit him. The problem is Durvasa lives on the other side of the Yamuna. How will the gopis cross the river? So they met Krishna on the bank of the river. And they asked Krishna the question, how can we cross the river? Krishna said, there's a mantra. If you chant this mantra, you can be successful. Gopi said, what mantra? Krishna Nitya Brahmachari. Krishna is always a brahmachari. Brahmachari means who never touches woman, never jokes, converses, what else? Never thinks, never engages, what to speak of actually engaging in sex life. Who completely detached from all these things is called brahmachari. So Krishna said, the mantra is Krishna is always a brahmachari. So gopis chanted the mantra, the Yamuna parted, and all gopis went across. Then they fed Durvasa thousands of preparations, thousands. Right? Unlimited pakoras and whatever, sweets, rice products, frioles. And Durvasa ate everything. And millions of preparations alone. Then Durvasa was pleased, so he blessed Radharani. I bless you, Radharani, anything you cook will taste like nectar. And whoever eats your cooking will always be healthy. So Gopi said, now we want to cross the river. How will we cross the river? Then Durvasa said, there's another mantra. Durvasa niraha. Durvasa never eats anything. So gopis chanted the mantra, Durvasa niraha. The water parted, the gopis went across again. They met Krishna on the other side. So they asked, Krishna, how you are never a brahmachari? So how are you a brahmachari? We know you cannot live 1 second without the gopis. Krishna said, no. I am brahmachari because the gopis are my own energy. The gopis are me. Right? Like I'm celibate. So I put my hand on my leg. Does that mean I fell down? No. So Krishna said, the gopis are my own body, own self. So associated with them, I never lose my celibacy. I'm always with myself. Gopi said, okay. But how Durvasa never eats anything? We don't understand. We saw him eating millions and millions of things. Then Krishna explained, Durvasa is a sadhu. Durvasa knows the difference between the body and the soul. So body is eating everything, but the soul never eats anything. So Durvasa niraha, Durvasa never eats anything. Anyway, the point of this story, Radharani's cooking is so amazing. So Mother Yasoda every day calls Radharani to cook for her son. Not just her son, everyone else gets to eat it also. Krishna's father, all uncles, all friends. She never cooks the same preparation twice. And each preparation tastes like nectar. And she makes thousands of preparations. So Mother Yasoda is also a great cook. But when she sees Radharani's cooking, for example, then she also like little watching which spices, how she does. Point of this was, yes, Radharani's artistic abilities attract everyone. Everyone is not envious, but everyone wants to be like that. Even the queens of Dwarka, they want, how Radharani dresses, we want to be like that. How she serves Krishna, we also want that quality. Even Lakshmi, Parvati, the wife of Shiva, they also desire her qualities. Ananta Koti Vishnu Loka Nama Padma Jachite Himadrija Vilinchita Puromaja Varaprade Apara Riddhi Siddhi Diliti Satpadangulenake Kada Karishasi Amam Kripa Katak Sabhajana. In this verse, Shiva actually has spoken these verses. So, even Sachi, the goddess, the wife of the king of heaven, Uma, the wife of Shiva, and Lakshmi, they all desire Radharani's qualities. When they see Radharani's qualities, they think we are like, glowworm. What's that in Russian? That's Spanish. Glowworm. ¿Qué es en español?
That's a firefly.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's not go into the microbiology. It's a firefly.
Firefly.
They think we are fireflies and Radharani is like the sun. So Radharani has so good qualities. Even Krishna see Radharani singing, dancing, all this. Even Krishna think I have nothing. Even Krishna feel ashamed of himself. I have nothing compared to her all artistic abilities. So even Krishna himself, Ya Sadgun Ganana Krishna Paipa, even Krishna himself cannot count her qualities. Scripture mentions 16 qualities of Radharani. Got Google Guru there?
I don't have it.
Radharani have unlimited qualities, but 16, so we can get some mention. Google, okay. Radharani, let's try and remember someone. Radharani always respectful to everyone. Even though she's the greatest, Radharani always respectful to everyone. But this is quality of devotee. Even though they're the greatest, they always think, I'm insignificant. So Radharani always pleases everyone by her behavior. She's never proud, never rude. No.
I'm getting
Always.
25.
25.
25, yeah.
Shame on me
Yeah.
for cutting 9. Can I have the phone?
Yeah, it's just loaded.
Hand it over.
Alright. don't flip through, you know.
Okay, 25 qualities. Okay, tranquilo. No, I memorized it all. She is sweetness personified. Tarunika. She is always ever fresh, sweet young girl. Radharani never becomes old. Like Krishna, never more than 15 years, 10 months, 2 weeks. 15 years, 8 months, 2 weeks. Radharani 2 weeks younger than Krishna. We never see old Radharani. No Botox injections for Radhika. Always fresh, always youthful. Her eyes are always moving. So many ecstasies, her eyes are restless, always. She's always brightly smiling. Not like that. Not showing teeth. It's considered low class. A woman laughs and show her teeth, like Prema. She's always brightly smiling. She possesses all auspicious marks on her bodies. 32 marks of great personality. 32 are there. So she possesses those. She can always attract Krishna. Easy to attract Krishna? Not easy. What we have that will attract Krishna? Nada. Therefore we cannot see him. Because there's nothing we have that he wants, so he stays far away. Okay. That's encouraging, wasn't it? Srila Bhakti Pramod Purnima says, why we cannot see Krishna? Because there's nothing we have that he wants, therefore we cannot see him. So she always attracts Krishna. She can always attract him. She can always agitate him. In a good way, of course. Not like Omkar's agitation. Therefore Krishna is in Dwarka, 16,108 queens. So they met with, at Kurukshetra, some conversation between the queens of Krishna and the Brajagopis. Then they say, we are 16,108 queens, and we're so much lipstick and makeup and glancing. We cannot attract Krishna at all. He never looks towards us. But one Radharani can attract him very easily. She can speak very nicely and sweetly. Not like Damodar Maharaj. She is expert in presenting feminine attraction. She is modest and gentle. Sometimes you see these pictures of Radharani, right? Radharani looks like one of these girls on the beaches of the island. Radharani never like that. Always modest, always high class. She's very merciful, always merciful. She is transcendently cunning. Go on, Rahul. Clever. No, she always can defeat Krishna in word fighting, some verbal argument. Always she defeats Krishna. Krishna is so much expert, he's the source of all knowledge, but Radharani defeats him. One time Krishna came to Radharani's kunja, knocking on the door. Radharani asked, Koasi, who is there? That village of Koasi is still there now. Now people call it Kosi. But real name is Koasi. Who is there? Then Krishna say, I am Hari. One name of Krishna, Hari. Hari means to steal. But Hari also means lion in Sanskrit. So Radharani said, oh my God, a lion? I'm not opening the door for a lion. No, I am Hari. Anyway, many names. I am Hari. Hari is the name of Krishna. Hari also means monkey. Oh, monkey, don't come in here. You go and play in the forest. No, no. Anyway, many, many names Krishna gave. No. I am, what did he say? I am Chakrada. I'm Chakrada. One name of Krishna. Chakrada. Krishna always can carry this, the weapon Sudarshan Chakra. I am Chakrada. So Radharani, Chakrada means pot maker. Like the, the pot maker puts the clay on the wheel, it spins and makes a pot. So generally, India, people buy new pots when there's some big wedding or festival. Radharani says, no wedding here, you come back later.
Here.
And Krishna says, I am Shesh. Shesh means the end of material existence, the supporter of everything. I am Shesh. Then Shesh also means snake. And Radharani says, no, I fear snakes. I won't let you in. Go away. This is the way Krishna used many, many names, but Radharani defeat them all. So she is always cunning. Krishna very cheeky, very clever, but Radharani can defeat him in word fight, like poetry, all these things. She always dresses very wonderfully. Damodarati Vardhanaveshe Hariniskuta Vrindavan. She always knows how to dress to attract Krishna. She is always shy. Even though she has so much attachment to Krishna, she never manifests that outside. She always, therefore Krishna never knows what she's thinking. Therefore she is very shy. She's always respectful. By her humility and respect, she always satisfies all the seniors of Braj. Everyone's so much pleased by her behavior. Where's Omkar? Omkar. Huh? Okay, Omkar. Try and develop some of Radharani's qualities, not shouting at people and throwing pakoras at them. Always respectful, always patient. Otherwise you do seva and you become crazy, that is not seva. If you become crazy, better just withdraw and give that to someone else. Otherwise people think this is Hare Krishna. They lose faith. No? How much hard work to preach and make someone, and we throw pakoras at them is not good. She's always patient, always respectful. She's very serious, very grave, very hard to understand what she is thinking. She is enjoyed by Krishna, no one else. She is always situated on the highest platform of devotion. She is the abode of love of the residents of Gokul. Everyone in Vrindavan see Radharani, they feel so much happiness, so much respect, so much affection for her. Everyone. Even opposition to Radharani, like Chandravali and these others, they also, this is Leela, but inside they also feel too much respect for Radharani. 21, she can give shelter to all kinds of devotees. Right? Someone thinks, Gurudev would always talk about, we must attain Radharani's shelter, we must attain Radharani's seva. That does not mean that everyone will become manjaris. That is not the meaning. Where's Gandhavika? She's not here. Oh, there you are. Many people hearing Gurudev's lecture, they say, oh, Gurudev said everyone will become manjaris. He always talks about Radharani's seva. That is not the meaning. The meaning, all rasas, all devotees can take shelter of Radharani and Radharani fulfill their desire. Right? But Sakiras can't pray to Radharani. But Sadiras cannot pray to Radharani. All rasas can take shelter of Radharani. Because she is the shelter of all bhakti ras. Where else are you going to go? That's the problem when high people speak, then unless you're high, you can't understand what he's talking about. Therefore need good Vaishnava associations. So, 21. She can give shelter to all kinds of devotees. Like in Damodarastakam. What's the last verse? Huh? What? Yeah, before that is 2 more lines. Huh? No, Damodarastakam. Anyway, there, Satibat Namastestu Damne Spuradipti Damne Tvadyodarayat Viswasa Damne Namo Radhikaya Tvadya Priyaye Namo Nanta Lilaya Devaya Tudu. Thus, Satyavat Rishi wrote these 8 verses, Damodarastakam. Satyavat Rishi is in Dasiras. At the end, he also prays to Radharani. He doesn't pray to become a manjari. Radharani, fulfill my desire to become the servant of Krishna. Yes, Dasiras. Namo, Namami Swadam, such the beginning Namami Swadam, and the end Namo. Therefore, the beginning and the end is Namo. Therefore, he is in Dasiras. But he also prays to Radharani, so she can give shelter to all kinds of devotees. She is always affectionate to superiors and to inferiors. To superiors and inferiors. Not crushing the new people. Crush. Okay, Omkar? Omkar. Where is he? Is he still there? Not shouting at people. Devotee is 1,000 times more valuable than a broom. Devotees are worth more than brooms. Brooms we can get anywhere, but devotees we cannot get. And sometimes we misbehave with one person, you lose 4, 5, 6 because whole family disappears. Okay, Omkar, you have to apologize to that lady today, okay? And the man. Don't worry, everyone makes mistakes, no problem. But when you bow your head and ask forgiveness, you become great, not small. Actually, in an argument, who bows the head first always wins. Anyway, not just Omkar, we all have these faults. She's always affectionate to juniors and seniors. She is always obliged by the dealings of her associates. Her old servants, Radharani, always what's the word? Grateful. There's a better word, isn't it? I forgot all my English. Indebted, thank you. You know, it's a bad day when taking English lessons from Purushottam. It's a dark day. My father would be weeping. So much I spent on his private school education. For nada, nothing. She's always obliged by the dealings of all her friends. No? Therefore, Rupa Goswami has wrote, Vrishabhanu Dadhi Navasasileti Lalita Saki Guna Ramita Vishaki. Radharani always attracted by the friendship of Lalita and Vishaka. Now 24, she is the greatest amongst Krishna's girlfriends. 25, she always controls Krishna. Thank you for that. All glories to the Guru, the Gopal, what's it? Guru. What we do not know, he always supplies. So actually 25 are talked here, mentioned here, but even Krishna cannot count her transcendental qualities. You know, so that's why if we try to worship Krishna, we always go under the guidance of Radharani and the superior devotees. What power we have to attract Krishna? Nothing. All we have is lust and greed and pride and anger and sleep, and that's on a good day. Therefore, we always go under the anugatya, always go under the guidance of devotees. Then can attract Krishna easily, because Krishna is controlled by their love, and we serve under their guidance. You can get Krishna easily. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Radhika dasi jadi hoy abhiman sigaram mile tabe gokulakan. Krishna is easily achieved by those who feel, I am the servant of Radharani. And all Gaudiyas, all devotees and all rasas feel, manifest or not furnished, they feel some Guru Bhav to Radharani. Everyone. Like even Sakya and Vatsalya, they have too much regard for Radharani. They have that. Anyway, time is not there, but that is fact. So, Ramananda Roy is speaking all this. Even Krishna cannot count Radharani's qualities. How can an ordinary person like me count them? Prabhu koye janilo Krishna Radha prem tattva sunite chahiduhur vilasa mahatva. Now I understand the truth about Krishna. I understand the truth about Radha. I understand the truth about prema. Now I want to understand about their meeting. So Ramananda Roy said the topmost form of Krishna is called Dear Lalit Nayak. Right? In the book Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, there's a description of the four heroes. And the best one is this one. That's why in Vrindavan Krishna is called Radha Dear Lalit Madhav. What's his qualities? He always controls his beloveds. He is expert in enjoying. He is expert at joking. He is always youthful. Krishna is always carefree, no tension, no problem. Right? Purushottam has many tension because he has. Do you have a job anymore? You gave it up, right? Nice. Sometimes devotees are so worried about their jobs. Where is she? What's her name? Sumukhi. Where's Shamala go? Shama, why are you so worried about job? Job is like hair. Shave it and it comes again. You can always get a new job, but the chance to go to Vrindavan is not all time. Right? So don't be too much attached. What are you working for anyway? Are you living to work or working to live? We are working to get some money for some goal. What's the goal? Just to keep working? That's no good life plan. Anyway, who am I to give lecture about employment advice? Sometimes people ask me about business employment. I'm going, are you serious? I never had a job in my life. So Krishna is expert at all these things. Carefree, no tension. Krishna has no job. What's Krishna's job? Nothing. Cow grazing. Yeah, nice one. He doesn't do even that. He's always taking off to Radhakund. So Krishna is cunning, expert, youthful, expert in joking, and have no tension, no anxiety. Who can always control his beloveds, that is dear Lalit. Day and no anxiety. Expert in controlling his beloveds. And what are Krishna's activities? Day and night in engaging in pastimes with the gopis, day and night. Then Ramananda Roy spoke some things, we'll leave it here. Then Ramananda Roy said Mahaprabhu asked, is there anything else? Ramananda Roy said, there is one thing, but I don't know if it's proper. Is it good or bad? I don't know. Because you are making me speak this, so I don't know what I'm speaking. And Ramananda Roy made a song. He composed a song. Many things that Goswamis write, you cannot find in any scripture. Right, Kandavika? What Ramananda Roy wanted to describe, there's no scripture to describe it. So he just makes his own description. Therefore we believe. Devotees, what they speak, that is sometimes more than scripture. You have to have that belief. So what Ramananda, everything else he gave some scriptural proof. But for this is no proof. There's nothing. Because Vedas cannot even dream of this. When he made a song, then Mahaprabhu closed his mouth. The meeting of Radha Krishna, what is that? That is not for speaking in this world. So Mahaprabhu closed his mouth. Don't speak. Means in this world is no one to hear these topics. But you can read the song after. So, Mahaprabhu said, this is the goal of life. By your mercy, now I understand everything. But how can I achieve that goal? Right? This is very much important. Unless you have a goal, you cannot practice. Sadanbini of Sadhuvastu Keonaipa. Unless you have a goal, you don't know how to practice. Right? Like if you go to the train station, where you want to go? I don't know. I'll know. What's your goal? Huh? What's your goal of life? After hearing all this, you still have a question? Radha Krishna Seva. Okay, let's hear it. What's your goal of life?
I didn't know.
How you maintain your body is just details, right? As a doctor, lawyer, Uber driver, garbage collector. I believe it doesn't matter too much. We suggest to get some frijoles, get some money, buy some frijoles. Money is just for rent and some food and clothes and things like that. So how you earn money is not goal of life. Of course, if you can earn money doing something you like, that is the best thing. But don't forget, no matter what I do, goal of life is to serve Radha Krishna. Okay? You can walk away with that in mind. That is good. Everything else is just details. But still, we should know how to reach the goal. So we have established, Mahaprabhu heard, now I understand goal of life is the meeting of Radha Krishna. How to arrange the meeting of Radha. How can I serve to help Radha Krishna meet together? So actually all rasas are serving the meeting of Radha Krishna. Some directly, some more directly. But actually that is the goal of everyone. So Nikunja Yuno Rati Kelly Siddhai, that doesn't mean that all gurus will be manjaris. No. All gurus, all Vaishnavas, all devotees, in whatever mood, according to what is appropriate for their mood, they are also serving Radha Krishna's pastimes. If there was no Madhya Soda, then how would there be any Krishna Leela? So that also helped. So, Ramananda Roy said, Roy koi ek kaho se kaho bani ek hi kaha balamanda kichu nahajani. Again and again Ramananda said, I don't know if I'm speaking good or bad. You are speaking through me. You are speaking through my mouth, yet at the same time you are also listening. This is very astonishing. How can I achieve the goal? So Mahaprabhu said, Sadhya vastu sadhan bina keho nahi pai. Unless you practice, you cannot reach the goal. How can I reach the goal? So Ramananda Roy spoke something more here. Radha Krishna Lila e ati guyata das vatsalyadi bhav na hoi gocha. The meeting of Radha Krishna is very confidential. Even other rasas like Das, Sakya and Vatsal cannot understand. They are serving the pastimes in a general sense. But what is actually happening, other ras have no entrance to that. Only Madhurya ras have entrance to that. Sabe saki gan iha adhikar saki hoite hoye lila vistar. Only the gopis can appreciate the pastimes of Radha Krishna. And the gopis expand the pastimes of Radha Krishna. Understand and expand. You know, if only Radha Krishna was there, like imagine we had a festival, only Damana Maharaj and Purushottam.
Yay.
What?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Would it not? Because I'd be hammering you all day, you'd have to be doing all the cooking, all the washing up. I'd be alright, but you'd be suffering. So only Radha Krishna, no, then many friends, many other gopis, and these pastimes expand. So Ramananda Roy talking like that. So if you want to enter these pastimes, now comes the topic of Anugatya. Right? Anugatya means under guidance. Guru Maharaj would say, Bhakti means one thing, Anugatyamoy, Anugatyamoy, Anugatyamoy. Devotion means one thing, under guidance, under guidance, under guidance. It's so much important. Without being under guidance in this world of Gurudev and Vaishnavas, there is no devotion. Yes, sir.
May I ask something?
Yes.
It is famous that Srila Prabhupada, on his dedication on Srimad Bhagavatam to his spiritual master, he said that the one who follows his divine instruction lives with him. But now we have seen clearly that what does Anugatya really mean? Because can we live on that? Because he's telling that. He always said that he was under his spiritual master, and it's obvious that he was following him. But what about the rest of us that, or at
You
least...
can say in Spanish.
Sí, que es muy conocido que la dedicatoria de Prabhupada en el Srimad Bhagavatam a su maestro espiritual, ahí dice, entre otras cosas, que aquel que sigue las instrucciones de Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, él vive con él. Pero ¿cómo entender entonces esta anugatya si uno puede estar seguido de esa manera, o de qué manera se entiende anugatya?
Anyway, so we'll get to that. But first we have to understand, without guidance of superior devotees, no one can practice devotion. Right? There's a famous story. I like this story a lot. Saraswati Thakur went to South India. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He came to one city, and the local devotees said, "Oh, Prabhupada, in this city there's a great devotee of Lord Ram. Great! He was run over by a train. His legs were chopped off. His legs. But still, he lay on the tracks chanting, Ram, Ram, Ram. If our legs were cut off, what would we be chanting? Oh my God. I heard a story. There was some devotees were driving in a van, and the driver fell asleep. Don't sleep. No, don't drive and sleep. So he fell asleep, and the van somehow started spinning on the highway. And there was a sannyasi in the back who was asleep also. And he woke up, with the van. You could imagine the van spinning. He woke up and he screamed, "Jesus, Joseph, Mary!" Jesus, Joseph. Well, in times of fear, anyway, this is no ordinary thing to have your legs cut off and still chant Ram, 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 not ordinary. I never forgot, I forget many things, but that story I never forgot. So they said, Prabhupada, he is a great devotee, great devotee. Would you like to meet him? And Saraswati Thakur said, I'm always happy to meet the devotees, of course. So the man came. Then Prabhupada said, under whose guidance are you serving Ram? Are you serving under the guidance of Hanuman, or Lakshman, or Sita? The man said, no, no, no. I am directly concerned only with Ram himself. Then Prabhupada said, you have no devotion at all. Imagine. You have no devotion. So many people, ordinary people, they don't know really what is devotion. Like Prabhupada would tell many of these small stories. You cannot cheat the high-class devotees. So one time there was a man who wanted a coconut chopper. Coconut chopper. Chopping the coconut, right? It's not difficult.
Machete.
Yeah, that's right. So he went to the blacksmith and he bought with him a third-class piece of iron, cheap, barato. And he gave the third-class piece of iron to the blacksmith. Please make me a first-class chopper. Rapido. Yeah, close it. Gracias. So, how can you cheat a blacksmith? Because blacksmith, that's his whole business. Iron, quality of iron. How can you cheat a blacksmith whose whole life is iron? So the blacksmith said, come on, man. How can you have a first-grade chopper with a third-grade piece of iron? No, I want a first-grade chopper. So the blacksmith made the machete, gave him, of course, the first coconut he cracked, it broke. So Saraswati Thakur said, how can you deceive the bona fide spiritual master? Good, they are expert in service, expert in devotion. You cannot deceive them. So many stories. Without guidance, that devotion is not real, no value. Imitation. Many stories, probably if I thought about it, could come across many. Anyway.
But is there not a difference that between the stories not similar because there is much difference between your story, with all due respect, because Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, they are non-different from their own instructions. If one is sincere, one can hold them, but what has happened, because we can see
No, we can, don't worry about it. We're just talking about the principle of guidance.
Okay.
One must have anugatya, one must have.
Can you repeat in Spanish?
Sí, perdón. Oh, sure. Oh, as you
Okay,
said.
don't worry. We're just talking now.
Okay.
Devotion must have guidance.
Okay.
No? Even Krishna says, what is, one who calls himself my devotee is not my devotee, but one who calls himself a devotee of my devotee is my devotee. I used to remember it. What is it? Ye me bad bhakti tache me bad bhakti. No, Krishna says. Ye, okay, just shut up. Ye te med bhakti tache se ye mad bhakta se te mad bhakta mata. Krishna says. Ye te mad. One who calls himself my devotee is not my devotee. The one who calls himself a devotee of my devotee is my devotee. When they asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who are you? And Mahaprabhu answered, Naham vipro na cha narapati na pi vaishya na sudro naham vani na cha grihapati na vanastu kitirva. I am not a sannyasi. I am not brahmachari, a grihasta or vanaprastha. I am not Brahman, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Sudra. I am none of these. Huam kintu pradana kila paramananda gopa bhakta padakamalayo dasir dasanudas. I am the servant of the servant's servants. I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the beloved of the gopis. Means Krishna is there, but I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the servants of Krishna. Again and again we see the devotees, the high class devotees, pray to become a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. Like Britasur. No? He said, O Lokanath, one name of Krishna, Lokanath, Lord of the universe. It is Smara Lokanath. O Lokanath, O Bhagavan, O Krishna, if you want to remember me, remember who am I? I am the servant of your servant, 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 servant. Britta Parichatika, Brittasya Brityamiti Smara Lokanath. I am the servant of your servant, 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 servant. So Srila Sridhar said, this is magic. The further we go away from Krishna by service, the closer we get to him. The further we go away from Krishna through service of the devotees, the closer we attain him. For example, if someone wants to serve Gurudev, right? Just push away in the kitchen, it's alright, I got it now. That's not going to happen. What Gurudev likes to eat, how he likes prasad, you don't know. You go to great effort to make something which he doesn't like, your service will not be accepted. So we believe Gurudev is serving Krishna, and Gurudev is serving his Gurudev. So by serving Gurudev, my service will reach Krishna. Right? I'll serve Gurudev, he will serve his Gurudev, he will serve his Gurudev. And my service will go up the parampara to reach Krishna. Even we offer something to Krishna, we meditate, I am giving this offering in the hands of Gurudev. And he will offer to Krishna, he will offer to Radha Krishna. So this idea should be very strong. So that's why one should always be under guidance of living devotee, living Vaishnava, living Guru. Not because Gurudev maybe Gurudev is far away, maybe Gurudev have many disciples we cannot associate. Maybe he has left this world, he is not in this world. Then who will take care? Who will give correction? Who will help? Therefore need living Guru. So many times people, after Gurudev disappears, they don't want to take living guidance. They do not want to accept Shiksha Guru. And that problem will always that devotee will always have many problems in their life. So when one reaches a certain stage, that time there's no question of being separate from the spiritual master or the previous acharyas, no question. That time they become tadatmik. Like you put iron into fire, iron takes all the qualities of fire. Iron becomes fire. So in a certain stage of devotion, in the stage of bhav bhakti at least, one becomes non-different from Guru. One becomes non-different from the previous acharyas. That time they're always under eternal guidance, eternal anugata. You cannot see, but it's there. Okay, so this principle, everyone must understand this principle very nicely. I must be under guidance. Who is my maintainer? Who is my protector? So Ramananda Roy said, Saki bina e lila anya nahigati saki bhav yetha kore anugati. Anugati means under guidance, anugati. Without the help of the gopis who are already there in Golok Vrindavan, without their help, no one can reach Radha Krishna. Oh, Haribo, come in. Jagai Mada, okay. Only by following in their footsteps, only following into their guidance. Hey, Jagai Mada, iti Sudha. Iti Sudha. Bring them here. Bind them. Mother said I only had to bind one, she has to bind two. So once you develop the mentality, I will follow the guidance of the associates, the eternal perfected devotees. Now we are not on that level to take their guidance. So now, in the beginning stages, we are all beginners. One should follow in this world the guidance of Gurudev and the Vaishnavas. In this world. If you can't do in this world with Gurudev who is right in front of us, how are you going to do it in the spiritual world? That will not be possible. So first follow here. Right? What we see in front of us, we have to follow that now. Right? So Gurudev and Vaishnavas in this world, we should take their instructions, take their chastisement. Right, Achyutananda Prabhu? Nice, right? Sometimes not so nice, but good for you, always beneficial. Sometimes their words may not be pleasing, but it will always be beneficial for you. Our problem is we're so used to being independent, especially in the Western culture. Viva la Mexico, no? In Indian culture, there's an idea whole life they're under guidance. No? Like Haridev, he's like 65, but still he won't do anything without asking his father. His father's like 90. So they believe like this. Whole life they always asking permission of mother and father, always serving mother and father, whole life. In Western culture it's a little difficult because now in modern culture, as soon as you're like 17, bing, out the door. Independent. Right, Champak? No, don't think about it. Independence, bad. Slavery, good. I'm sure your mother will remind you constantly. So anyway, Western culture is little, before it was not like that, but now it's headed in that direction since the 50s, 60s. That is the loss of society. Now we see, right, parents, because they throw the children out of the home, then in old age no one wants to take care of them and they die alone in the old person's home. Children are young, and young means crazy senses and mind. The habits performed in youth cause so much disturbance later. Sai sava yobana jara sukha sange abhyasa hoiluman. Right, Chambak? The mistakes we make in youth cause so much disturbance in old age. So in India it's a little easy for people to understand this, but in Western culture, a little more difficult. We have to give up our own mentality, our own ideas, our own moods, and try to mold it with the moods of the higher devotees. So if someone thinks I will jump over Gurudev and go to the higher devotees independently, that will not be successful. Like there was one devotee, he was from the Philippines. Won't mention his name. In many ways he's quite extraordinary. In many ways. No need to mention that. But he became very interested in, I want to serve Rupa Goswami. I want to serve Jiva Goswami. So he left the temple and he had no money. So he's going around collecting donations. Why? He wanted to paint all the samadhis, the mausoleums. Right? In English, in like Christianity, you die and they make a nice big, with angels and everything, mausoleum. But in Vedic culture it's called samadhi. So he wanted to paint all the samadhis. And in Vrindavan there's millions of samadhis. It's like unlimited. So he was collecting money and really not spending the money on himself. That's all. No one would accuse him of that. And in the middle of the sun, in the middle of the day, his painting is completely black from the sun, painting all his samadhis, and he was doing this for months. Then Gurudev caught him. Gurudev chastised him. What relation you have with Rup and Sanatan? Your relation to them is through me. They are not accepting your service. This guy was like thunderbolt on his head. Thunderbolt. He was so disturbed, he ran away for 2 years. So disturbed. Could not digest Gurudev's words. Then 2 years later he came back with his tail between his legs. Gurudev, now I understand what you're saying is completely true. Give him 2 years to understand. So not easy. I'll tell one more story. I could tell too many terrible stories. When I joined, there was one lady, I won't say her name, from England. Older lady. She was quite proud in her previous beauty. You could see that. So one day Gurudev said to her, "You are getting very old. You are looking very old." She became so disturbed, she left for 15 years. 15 years. So disturbed. She could not digest that. And then Gurudev was in England, Brighton. And she came again after 15 years of absence. She came, did pranam. Gurudev said to her, "You are looking so old." The same thing. He wasn't joking, he completely dead serious. "You are looking very, very old." We're laughing, but Gurudev was not laughing. She went away and in the garden her head was spinning. What is this? So I said the relation with Guru was on his terms, not on your terms. And then she told me the story 15 years ago, he said the same thing. And I met him for the first time in 15 years, again he said. Anyway, I don't know what conclusion she came, but she just died of cancer last year. She just died of cancer. Happy ending. Anyway, so maybe it's not easy to digest their words, but it will always be good for you. Now, our problem is we want a sycophant. We want someone who will please our senses in every way. Like Manoram is thinking, I'll be with the Vaishnavas, but they have to do this and 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 this. Sign the contract, then I'm the disciple. No, Manorama, no one's going to sign that. You can forge the signature, but it won't work. So anyway, yes, so there was a point. Anyways, Anugatya is... that's right. The problem is we are looking for a guru or a leader who will just please us, please our senses. So Saraswati Thakur told another story. He would tell these little funny stories. So there was one boy who developed a boil. A boil. Who's had a boil? It's quite painful. Burning is there. So he complained to the parents. The parents took him to a doctor. "Oh, my son is burning so much here." So the doctor took the boy's hand, blowing on the boil. Then boy felt very happy. Oh, cooling and relief is there. I feel good. I feel good. But parents could understand. This is ridiculous. Parents could understand. Child could not understand. They took him to another doctor. So the other doctor grabbed the hand of the boy, took a scalpel, and stabbed the boil. Of course, the boil erupted, all the bad stuff came out, but there was some pain there. So the boy was shouting, "Ah, so much pain. Oh, take me back to the first doctor. The first doctor was very good, very experienced, very nice doctor, but this doctor is no good." So the problem is the materialists, they're looking for a so-called guru who just enable their material plans. Like often we joke in our temple, that's why no one joins Gaudiya Math. No. Right, Chris? Why not joining? Why not surrendering? Because so many rules, right? Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. So many restrictions. Right? Twice a month you can't eat, even if you are a vegetarian, you can't eat this. No smoking, no coffee, no tea, no ganja, no girlfriends, no nada. So many restrictions. Then there's things like Chatumas, right? Osho. That's why Osho had millions of followers. There's no rules. You are the rule. What is good, what feels good, that is the rule. So it's like, Gaudiya Math, Osho. His philosophy was, don't bother controlling the senses. That's artificial. So just enjoy unlimitedly, and find spiritual life in that. He would teach like this. Of course, he died of AIDS because he was practicing what he preached. He died of AIDS because having unlimited, all the disciples enjoying them. Anyway, so how do we get onto this topic? Anugati is difficult. Anugati means under guidance, under control of the scriptures, under the instructions of the previous gurus, and under living guru. Okay, ready, Batu?
Or
For surrender.
getting on a sailboat.
Even though we may not be ready, still in our mind we should, this is the best thing. This is the highest thing. Problem is we think independence is freedom. But independence is actually suffering. Because spiritual life and material life are completely opposite. So everyone thinks freedom is happiness. We say no, freedom is death. Independence is suffering. Even Krishna feels that. Krishna is God. If anyone in this world is independent, who is it? Krishna. But you see in Krishna Lila, even Krishna has no independence. He cannot do anything without asking mother and father. He cannot do anything without the permission of the gopis. Krishna so much feels happiness being controlled by his devotees. Like Mother Yasoda bound him. That means Krishna is not free to move, he is now bound. But Krishna feels so much ecstasy in that position. No? Krishna feels bliss being controlled by the devotees. And in Vrindavan, everyone controls him. Even the trees, even the rocks, even the birds. In Vrindavan, everyone has power to control Krishna. That's why Krishna is the most happy in Vrindavan more than any other incarnation, because completely controlled by everyone. To be controlled by love. Other incarnations, they are not controlled like that. But Krishna fully controlled by his devotees. Therefore Krishna feels so much bliss, so much happiness. Guru Maharaj said about his own life, when Gurudev said when he was a young man, no one could control him. The only one who could control him, he came, was his Gurudev. Then he said he could, slowly, he said, I could understand the ecstasy of being controlled. No buts.
No, I wanted to add something because I'm looking at Chris and he's like, oh my God, is this a sect? Or this is happening?
Yes, this is a sect.
No, but you were joking about that yesterday, and it may look the same, but what is the difference? Because, for example, our home, we pay our rent, we live by ourselves, me and my wife. No one tells what to do to raise up for manga art, but we do that, and we're happy. So what would you say that is the difference between this behavior that is not sectarian, that it may look like we're controlling your life, what you eat, what you think, what
Because you're being controlled by someone who has no material desires. Right, Chris? The person who's controlling you doesn't need anything you have. The person who's controlling you, Gurudev, you have nothing they're interested in. They're not interested in money, real estate, anything. Anyway, now we cannot understand the nature of love. But love means no freedom. Love means to be controlled. Therefore, in the highest, even the highest portion of spiritual life, you'll find even Krishna is always controlled. He finds so much happiness in that. Material life, we find to reject something and be free is happiness. But spiritual life will be the opposite completely. No. Anyway, so if you surrender, then you can understand the happiness of the surrendered soul. So Krishna, even Radharani, she's the highest, but even Radharani not do anything without permission of her friends, without the permission of even mother and father. Radharani in the highest position, she's always taking advice from her girlfriends like Lalita and Vishaka. No? Even Radharani controlled by her own servants, the Manjaris, they also control her. So in the spiritual world, everyone is controlled. Krishna is controlled by prema. Radharani is controlled by prema. So who's controlling everyone in the spiritual world? Prema. Love. Love means to be controlled. Love means fear. I love these two. Narayan hates them, that's why it gives him more happiness. Love means fear. Like Krishna, when he broke the churning pot, then he realized mother was angry, then how much Krishna feared his mother. And he running out of fear. And Yasoda chased him. That time Mother Yasoda caught him and showed the stick, I will beat you, then how much Krishna's afraid? No? What Rudantam Muhunetram Yugmam Jantam Karamboja Yugmena Satanka Netram Muhu Swasa Kampa Trire Kankanta Stita Grevam Damo Dharam Bhakti. The lines on Krishna's neck shaking, the lines on his belly shaking. He weeping. And with his hands, he rubbing his eyes again and again. Kunti watched this. Then Kunti was astonished because she realized Krishna is not pretending to be afraid. He's not pretending. He really feared his mother. Therefore Kunti was astonished. Krishna doesn't fear anyone or anything. Death is afraid of the name of Krishna. At the time of death, what we chant? Jesus, Joseph and Mary. Krishna, Krishna. Then death runs away. So death is afraid of the name of Krishna. Yad bebeti swayam bayam. Fear is afraid of Krishna. But Krishna is afraid of his mother. If you love someone, always there's fear of displeasing someone. This is the nature of love. If you love someone, you never want to displease them. So you fear to displease them. You know, these topics, many people think fear means you just let someone do whatever you want. That is not love. Fear means always you're afraid to displease the object of love. So Krishna always fear his devotees. He fears Mother Yasoda. He fears Subal and Sub. No, he don't want to make them upset. He fears that. Madhusudama says, Krishna every second fearing Radharani will be in man now or not. He watching every moment. He fear her man, her angry mood. So this is prema. Now we cannot understand because we are brainwashed by modern society who are teaching us to give up all our values, all our fear. Anyway, If you
It's
love
different.
Gurudev, you fear him. You cannot tolerate the idea of displeasing him. Yes, sir. And don't give me some washed down. No.
No, I want to make a point that
Yes.
I think the way that we're conditioned to think about fear is a completely different thing than what you're talking about. And when you put it in these terms, I think it's off-putting. Because you're talking about a transcendental exhilaration that's
Yeah.
based on love. The way we're conditioned to think about fear is an egoic, negative thing. And it's to me, you can't really compare it.
Take it. Anyway, when Gurudev is angry, how much you fear? I fear. This is worse than death.
That's beautiful fear for sure.
But this is based, if you don't fear someone, there's no love. Like someone abusing the street, just who cares? Right? No relation. It's someone who loves you, who chastises, then how much do you feel like? No relation, because of relationship you'll have some feelings. So anyway, try to understand all these things. Surrender, give up one's independence, become controlled. This is the doorway of liberation. But even if you go through that doorway, it's on the other side as well. Hare Krishna. Okay, ready, Bato? Never come back again, right? Hare Bol.
Can we sing Kalayati Nayanam?
Huh? No.
When we end, can we?
No. We'll sing something Atmanavedanam. Anyway, so try to understand. Gogamraj would say, often, every night Prabhupada appearing in my dream, pulling my ear, slapping me. Why you haven't done this work? Why you haven't finished this? He'd say. Every night I hear Prabhupada's words chastising. Gogamraj on such a level. Gurudev would say, I am like fire. He would say, I am like fire. I have come here to burn, to purify. If you are not ready for that, stay very far away from me. Hare Krishna. So, as we were saying, without the anugati of the gopis, no one can enter into these pastimes. This is the price you have to pay. Like Pujapad Madhusudam Maharaj often he says, we are in the prison. He said, we are in Didi's prison. We are here in the prison. And he would say, how do you know when you have come home? He said, when you want to run away, but you cannot. That means you are home. When you want to run, but you cannot because you have sold your soul there. You cannot run. There's a million reasons why you should run. But you cannot, that means you are home. You have come home. And that is the definition of prema. There may be millions of reasons why the relationship should be broken. Millions of reasons. But it's never broken. That means there is prema. Like Radharani says, Asli sava panarupanashto mamadashnama mamatadam hatam korotuva yata tata vidhato lampato matpranastatusa evanam. This is Radharani who's so speaking. Let Krishna embrace me. Or let Krishna crush me under his feet. Let Krishna embrace other beloveds right before me. Still I am his, birth after birth. She prays like that. Our problem is when we make a relationship, it's based on good and bad qualities. But the nature of spiritual love is not like that. Seeing many, many faults, their love does not decrease. And seeing many, many good qualities, their love does not increase. This is the meaning of transcendental love, transcendental prema. So, anyway. So without the guidance of the gopis, without the guidance of the eternally perfected souls, no one can enter the service of Radha Krishna. Only by their grace one can understand the conjugal love between Radha and Krishna. There is no other procedure for understanding. Mightn't sound very nice, but that is the price you have to give. When I first came to Gurudev, one of the first things he said to me, can you give your head? He said, can you give your head for me? Can you give your head for Sadhu-san? When Gurudev, I asked Gurudev once, what's the first thing your Gurudev said to you when you met? First thing. They'd been writing letters. And so Gurudev, previously he was married, had some daughters. He was officer, in the police force, had career, had everything. So I asked Gurudev, what's the first thing your Gurudev said to him? So he came, he did pranam and bhakti pragyan kesam. I said, I want you to take sannyas. First thing. That means give up your wife, give up your children, give up your job and come here as a beggar. Serve here with nothing. And what answer Gurudev? If you want me to be married, I will be married. If you want me to be a king, I will be a king. If you want me to take off all my clothes and dance naked in the street, I will do that also. Today, all the love I have for my parents, my wife, my children, I take all that affection and I put it on your lotus feet. Then Bhakti Pragyan Kesam Maharaj began to weep. The Guru began to cry, not even the disciple. The Guru began to cry. So this means surrender. I'm not doing what I want, I do what you want. So it first should come in this world towards Guru, otherwise how it's ever going to come for the higher section? So you go, oh, this may sound terrible, but it gives so much bliss, so much happiness. Otherwise no one would do it. There must be so much taste to it. So, Ramananda Roy, he's speaking all these things. I think we'll finish here. It's little. Anyway, it's very, very high things Ramananda Roy speaks. By surrendering that much, what they feel. You shouldn't think this surrender is just dry and all you get is suffering, like Narayan is thinking. By this surrender you get so much. What you get, there are some descriptions here later. If you give up your own mood, then you can fully adopt their mood. Then what they're tasting, you can taste. And what they're tasting, that is unlimited bliss. So don't think surrender, all these things we're saying means you lose something. You are gaining something completely unlimited. Go Premanandi. So tonight we're talking about this Raganuga Bhakti, what it means, Anugatya of the different devotees. Many things. Maybe we not understand. Haribol.
Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.